The submission is for the UAP Society Project Idea Challenge. This project idea is a pattern recognition algorithm identifying UAP subset green fireball.
The presentation will start with my original motivation for being interested in green fireballs, move on to an executive summary, briefly discuss who needs this algorithm, and continue with somewhat of a lecture, the background of the 5 observables of UAP, the background of fireballs and green fireballs, and then what I propose are the 5 observables for green fireballs. We'll continue on with a discussion of who can use this immediately, and my final evidence for geographic correlation between UAP and fireball, and finish just with a quick final summary.
My motivation for this video is my own sighting of a green fireball late in the year 2020, and of what, or who, came afterwards a few weeks later. On December 21st, 2020, around dusk, 2 bright stars appeared low in the sky, right next to each other. Those stars were actually the planets Jupiter and Saturn. When 2 planets are aligned so they appear almost on top of each other to observers here on Earth, astronomers call it a conjunction. The particular conjunction that occurred on December 21st, 2020 is very rare. Astronomers have a special name for it, the Great Conjunction, and it is also known as the Christmas star. I'd set my telescope out by the side of the road near my home to view the Christmas star with a companion around 6:30 p.m. Just when I had the telescope focused on the 2 planets, my companion said, "Hey, look at that." I looked up from the telescope and saw 3 glowing orange-red craft flying very slowly in a row across the street from me about 50 to 60 feet in the air, just above the townhouses. My first instinct was to spin the telescope around to look at the craft through it, which I did do. The 3 dissolved into the early evening sky as UFOs tend to do, just after passing over a traffic light a short distance away, like glowing coals dipping beneath the surface of an opaque blue liquid. I was out riding my road bike on the same road only a few days later, a few hours earlier in the day, and I watched a few large black helicopters flying the exact same route as the UFOs had. When I saw the helicopters, I knew immediately they were retracing the UFO's flight path. There's a lot more to both of those stories, but they are not the story. The story actually starts a few weeks prior to December 21st, 2020. Once again, I was out riding my road bike on that same road near my home around dusk. Think super clear, darkening blue skies with lots of darker red and orange accents. I just started my ride when I noticed a few bright stars dropping from a high altitude a great distance away. 2 faded away quickly, but the 3rd grew brighter, became green, and grew a short golden tail. It was heading straight down, and I thought, wow, I'm watching a shooting star, cool. As I rode on, the green star just stopped dropping. Its tail disappeared, and it seemed just to hang there. I kept riding, watching the star grow larger. And as the road began to curve, I could see the flight path of the green star from the side, in profile. At this point, I stopped riding and just stood with my bike by the side of the road. It was actually coming right towards me. It still had a golden tail and was moving at an unnaturally slow pace. It didn't make sense. It passed directly over my head, perhaps 40 or 50 feet above. I'm an engineer, and just watching this thing moving that slowly, there was no way inertia alone was keeping it in the air. It was defying gravity. My immediate thought was, man, if this thing drops out of the sky right now, I'm gonna die. And yet I was calm, maybe even serene. My second thought was that it actually wasn't a pure green. It just looked that way until you were right up on it. My third thought was that it wasn't a natural object, that it was some kind of ET probe moving with intention, searching with a purpose, and it was definitely defying gravity. The green fireball made no noise, it left no trail of smoke or otherwise. I watched it disintegrate without a flash or an explosion, just as it passed over the same traffic light that the UAP and helicopters would pass over a few weeks later. That green fireball was one of the most engaging, most fascinating things I've ever experienced. The project manager and me wanted to be involved, to study these things, to coordinate or participate in some kind of technical capacity. The UAP experiencer and me wanted only one thing, to speak to whoever was flying that green fireball face to face, and I still want that. That's my story. Next, I will describe what I propose are the 5 observables of green fireballs and how I think they can be used by several sophisticated technologies already in use today. What I describe herein is what I have personally witnessed through the eyes of an engineer. Executive summary. I propose the 5 observables for green fireballs have already been identified. The idea is to create a pattern recognition software algorithm that analyzes digital video files according to the 5 observables for green fireballs, and to integrate that algorithm into existing Sky 360 and other UAP detection systems, and to make that open source. Using this algorithm, we can investigate whether green fireball sightings precede or occur during other UAP sightings. We can determine whether green fireball sightings are predictive of where other UAP sightings will occur, and we can enable citizen scientists to study these phenomena on their own. Secondarily, we may create an initiative to integrate green fireball detection into existing fireball detection networks, analyzing their historic data. Perhaps we call this the UAP Society Green Fireball Initiative. Execution, timeline, and cost. Algorithm development will be straightforward. It's the combination of 2 existing algorithms. There's less work, so development will happen faster. 3 months are allotted for this task. The cost should be low. We're using pre-existing code. We should discuss the least expensive way to do this with Sky 360. This is where I consider project funds being spent. To reduce costs further, we should combine all algorithm requests from this contest into a single package. In 2021, the OD&I released a preliminary report on UAP, which contained the language, UAP sightings also tended to cluster around U.S. training and testing grounds. The UAP task force is looking for novel ways to increase collection of UAP cluster areas. One proposal is to use advanced algorithms to search historic data captured and stored by radars. The U.S. Air Force began a 6-month pilot program in November 2020 to collect in the most likely areas to encounter UAP. The FAA captures data related to UAP during the normal course, and the FAA is able to isolate data of interest to the UAP task force and make it available. According to Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, director of the All-Domain Anomalies Resolution Office, or ARROW, identifying where to look for UAP is still a challenge as of 2023. He states, what you'll notice is that there is a heavy collection bias, both in altitude and geographic location. That's where all of our sensors exist. That's where all of our training and operational ranges are. That's where all of our platforms are. Publicly, we're told there is limited UAP sighting data available to ARROW and that it is of low quality. However, there are several technological platforms in widespread use today that do reliably detect meteoritic fireballs in our atmosphere. Using those systems in conjunction with a green fireball detection algorithm, I propose ARROW and other government agencies can vastly improve their UAP sighting rates. If green fireballs do precede or occur simultaneously with other UAP sightings, then existing meteoritic fireball detection systems equipped with this algorithm will provide a rapid detection system for UAP as they appear in an area or may even predict where and when UAP sightings will occur in the future.
Who else needs this? We do, citizen scientists.
Background. What are UAP? Authors Cooper, Blumenthal, and Keene in December of 2017 made the world aware of unidentified aerial phenomena with their article in the New York Times. And by 2020, UFO footage was available to the public. In 2019, Luis Elizondo of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or ATIP, identified the 5 observables for UAP to the world. Inclusively, these are anti-gravity, sudden acceleration, hypersonic velocity without signature, low observability, and trans-medium travel. Software applications today and UAP detection systems use those observables in algorithms to track UAP. Also, it is safe to say as of 2019, the public had technical, if not actual, UAP awareness. Here are 2 UAP detection systems, Sky 360 on the left, UFO DAP on the right. Notably, Sky 360 is open source. Background. What are fireballs? Meteoroids are rocky or metallic fragments of asteroids that are floating around in outer space. Meteors are meteoroids which have entered into our planet's atmosphere. We call meteors fireballs when they start to burn up in our atmosphere. They can have different colors which depend on what elements they're composed of. Meteorites are the name we give to meteors that do not burn up completely and actually impact the ground. The intense heat and friction of an incoming meteor can ionize the air all around and produce a greenish glow. Green fireballs, however, slow down and change direction when they reach a certain altitude. They level out and they move slowly, and they cover long distances that way. Witnesses describe feeling as though these things are probes as they pass overhead. Green fireballs seem to decrease as they go, vaporizing or disintegrating. They move silently, and they do not leave trails of dust, fumes, or smoke. Many speculate green fireballs are a subclass of UAP, if not of meteor. Meteors move differently. Meteors will maintain their trajectories until they explode, combust, or impact the Earth. Graphically, this is the flight path of a green fireball. In step 1, they appear as a meteor, incoming with a green glow. However, at a certain altitude, they rapidly level off, slowing down, and by step 3, they're moving parallel with the Earth. They are silent, no fumes or smoke are reported, and by step 4, they're moving very slowly. If, however, the meteor in step 1 maintains its trajectory and it burns up, explodes, or impacts the ground and becomes a meteorite, we assume it is a natural event. So, for step 1, we use the algorithm for a meteor. And for steps 2, 3, and 4, we use the algorithm for an airplane on approach. Green fireballs have been disclosed to the public since the days of Roswell. In the late 40s, nuclear scientists reported seeing them often, operating under intelligent control. We know via declassified documents that green fireballs were a primary concern for our government over 70 years ago. In February of 1949, a secret conference was held between defense, intelligence, and the most respected scientists in an effort to determine what green fireballs were. The transcript of that conference details a truly fascinating exchange that is recommended reading. 2 individuals in particular, Dr. Edward Teller and Dr. Lincoln LaPaz, tried to discern the physics behind green fireball behavior without success. As with flying saucers, green fireballs became classified officially as unidentified aerial phenomena and are still considered so to this day by many. The U.S. government actually built a network of green fireball observation and photographic units. This was called Project Twinkle, and it ran between 1949 and 1951. In its final report, they described green fireballs as nothing more than natural. In contrast, Time magazine produced an article titled Great Balls of Fire. It openly discussed the green fireball phenomenon, and it contained technical traits discussed as a matter of fact. Then, in 1953, Edward Ruppelt, as director of Blue Book, wrote of interviews he had had with scientists and technicians at Los Alamos the year before. He noted many thought that the fireballs were actually extraterrestrial probes. The previous slides are meant to demonstrate that the common traits of green fireballs, as separate from meteors, bolides, and meteorites, have been well established for almost 70 years now. Further examination is beyond the scope of this video. However, I very highly recommend you are watching the two YouTube videos at the links shown. UFO historian and researcher Richard Dolan, on his YouTube channel Intelligent Disclosure, provides an outstanding summary of the green fireball UAP topic and, in my opinion, his presentations elucidate the reasons why the subject of green fireballs aren't a part of the mainstream UAP discussion today. As of 2023, several decades of data suggest at least 5 observables exist for green fireballs. I propose these are descending steeply like a meteor, suddenly slowing down and leveling off with the ground, continued slow flight as an anti-gravity until disintegration, a green glowing core and no smoke, and silent movement. Thinking through the basic algorithm, we break this into 5 components. Steps 1 through 4 are movement with an appearance. Step 5 is silence or otherwise. Step 1, we're using the meteor algorithm. Steps 2, 3, and 4, we're using the airplane algorithm. The software scans the sky for meteors using a meteor algorithm in step 1. At the altitude when the meteor changes speed and course and becomes a green fireball, we substitute the airplane on approach algorithm. If green fireballs are probes, hiding them first as a meteor and then as an airplane suggests an intelligent design. If that is the case, then a software patch for existing UAP detection systems or something by open sources might happen fast. If we can detect green fireballs, we may be able to detect flaps of them or multiples of them in the same location. If we can do that, and we can track UAP, we might see a correlation between the two through time. It has been reported that green fireballs precede UAP sightings or at least occur at the same time. If that is the case, we may have an early detection system for UAP sightings via this algorithm. Further, it would allow citizen scientists to re-examine the significance of this phenomenon, possibly publishing new findings. Now, let's examine existing global fireball detection systems that can immediately utilize green fireball detection algorithms to identify UAP activity, and we'll cover potential initial sites for deployment. Outreach activities with all of these groups should be conducted via something like the proposed UAP Society Green Fireball Initiative, which would happen in parallel with algorithm development. In 2019, it was determined that the geostationary lightning mapper instrument aboard United States GOES weather satellites was also capable of detecting fireballs, also known as bolides. Then in 2022, in partnership with the NASA JPL Center for Near-Earth Studies, the U.S. Space Force released decades of fireball data to the public. Over 3 decades of global fireball activity are shown in this plot. Outreach by UAP Society Green Fireball Initiative to the Center for Near-Earth Object Studies can be made to determine whether and how to apply green fireball detection algorithms to the GOES GLM. Consider this map of fireball detection and the companion chart to the right. In only 5 years, nearly 6,000 fireballs have been detected by either or both the GOES East and GOES West satellites. This satellite network is proven capable of detecting fireballs, and if it can identify green fireballs specifically, may represent an invaluable resource to aero and citizen scientists alike. Compare this detection map to that of the ODNI and aero, presented this year, 2023, for their UAP detections and capabilities. The GOES-R series of satellites represent the most advanced geostationary weather satellite technology available today. These monitor both the airspace over land and sea, are operated by our eminent space and oceanic associations NASA and NOAA, and represent robust platforms that can utilize green fireball detection through at least 2036. SETI Institute, in partnership with NASA Ames Research Center and the American Meteor Society, provides a means for reporting fireballs online. They have made publicly available fireball log data from the year 2005 to present and are a part of the Global Fireball Observatory, which I will describe shortly. Often, the stated purpose of tracking fireballs is to determine where to search for potential meteorites, to recover meteorite material and potentially metamaterials. However, inclusion of a green fireball detection algorithm into their systems and updating their fireball reporting form to include the 5 observables of green fireballs can also represent an invaluable resource to aero and citizen scientists. An outreach effort by a UAP Society Green Fireball Initiative to SETI, NASA Ames, and the American Meteor Society would be made in parallel with green fireball algorithm development as part of this project. 2 additional groups focused on monitoring and studying meteor activity include the International Meteor Organization and the Meteoritical Society. Both groups' websites provide links to report fireballs online, and both groups' links feed back to the American Meteor Society's online reporting mechanism. This is advantageous to this project as it allows us to focus our efforts while drawing from a larger pool of users. Of note, the Meteoritical Society promotes its annual meeting for July of 2024, where a UAP Society Green Fireball Initiative may present its progress and data to date and to network with other scientific bodies interested in the field. The Global Fireball Observatory, or GFO, represents massive potential for detection of green fireball activity. They are partnered with institutions and monitoring networks around the world. Their adoption of a green fireball algorithm and methodology could greatly enhance UAP detection capabilities for aero and other UAP investigators and re-legitimize the UAP status of green fireballs in general. As part of this project proposal, a UAP Society Green Fireball Initiative may consider its own Green Fireball and UAP reporting phone app, which feeds into and utilizes their and/or the Meteor Society's architecture and database. The GFO partners with at least 18 different institutions around the globe. A UAP Society Green Fireball Initiative may find partners who can utilize a green fireball detection algorithm and methodology worldwide through cooperation with the GFO. The GFO partners with at least 10 different monitoring networks around the globe. These represent working units with functional observational setups and skilled individuals that can offer technical expertise in the development of a green fireball algorithm and also in the refinement of the algorithm on an ongoing basis. Through associations between the UAP Society and Dr. Tim Gallaudet, a UAP Society Green Fireball Initiative would benefit not only from his expertise, but also from his former relationship with NOAA and his ongoing relationship with the Galileo Project, headed by Dr. Avi Loeb, a world thought leader in astronomy, UAP, fireballs, and meteorites. A link is provided to the highly recommended Leto Files YouTube interview, Admiral Revelations, Underwater UFOs. Finally, through the UAP Society and the Leto Files, unique opportunities exist for initial deployment of a green fireball algorithm into known UAP hotspots. Project Hestelin, located in Norway, has a pre-existing research team with extensive UAP detection equipment located strategically throughout the area. Leto Files has previously participated in scientific research endeavors with the group actually on location and has an excellent rapport with their research team. A link is provided to the highly recommended Leto Files YouTube interview, one of a series of several video interviews and on-location work titled Finding UAPs in Norway with Project Hestelin's Tech Director. As part of this project, one or more members would seek to work directly with Project Hestelin in the development, refinement, deployment, and validation of the Green Fireball algorithm and methodologies. Project funds may be spent to purchase one or more UAP detection systems, such as Sky 360, for installation at this site for the purpose. Mount Wilson Ranch, a known UAP hotspot, would make an ideal location for one or more UAP detection stations, utilizing a green fireball detection algorithm. Explorer, investigator, and YouTube creator Carl the Crusher has collaborated with Chris Leto in the past doing innovative research at the ranch and is actually a member of the UAP Society. As part of this project, one or more members would seek to work directly with Carl Crusher and Jeff McBurney, owner of Mount Wilson Ranch, in the development, refinement, deployment, and validation of the Green Fireball algorithm and methodologies. Project funds may be spent to purchase one or more UAP detection systems, such as Sky 360, for installation at this site for the purpose. Lastly, one of, if not the, most famous of all UAP hotspots is Skinwalker Ranch. If the green fireball phenomena is present at Skinwalker, then this location represents either an ideal testbed for a green fireball detection algorithm, or the eventual goal for a validated green fireball algorithm to be deployed into. Skinwalker's staff and contributors are among the most qualified UAP investigators on the planet, and they have an extensive network of advanced UAP detection equipment which already provides data to the public online. A UAP Society Green Fireball initiative would seek to make any relationships and obtain any advisement possible here.
Final evidence. UAP and fireball sightings correlate geographically. This is the heat map provided by Arrow. It has been distorted to overlay approximately well with the GFO observatory locations map. And this is the overlay of those two maps. Where UAP data are reporting, we find fireball observatories. Interestingly, at least in the southern part of South America, in the UK, and in Australia, we do not show UAP data reporting.
To summarize, the project proposes to create a software algorithm to detect green fireballs. 3 months are allotted for this task. Project funds will be spent on software development and purchase of UAP detection systems for initial development and deployment. An outreach group would be created in parallel immediately to contact organizations already tracking green fireballs. Thank you to the UAP Society for the opportunity to present this project idea, and thank you for watching.